Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another leg of the Sevens. This one, Singapore, the last leg before we reach the finals that are taking place at the end of the month. This game, it will be Fiji versus USA, two sides that have more than enough capabilities of making it far in this competition. It's just about getting a good start on the board early and trying to, I guess, develop on what they did in the last competition. The Fijians, slightly disappointing, but we're still waiting for those big performances. They may actually find themselves going through the whole regular season without a gold medal, but the beauty of this competition layout is next week, or the next league that we do have, if they end up winning that, they would actually be crowned the overall Sevens champions. And there's also the Olympics just around the corner as well. But in the starting lineup for the Fijians, it is Viliami Naikalsa, also Josefa Talatholo, so of course that experience still there for the Fijians. Filippo Bukayaro, Georgie Nosova, Sivu Mothunothangi, Fatima Ravovo, and also Kiminelli Rasaku. So a lot of speed, a lot of strength in this Fijian side, which is normally what we do expect for the USA. It is going to be Naima Foala'au, Joe Schrader, Kevin Williams, also Perry Baker, Aaron Cummings, Lucas LeCamp, and Steve Thomasine. So a well-oiled USA machine that we have seen over the last few weeks, doing pretty well, just struggling for the legs of the Sevens every once in a while. And in a group that is so tough, we've got to remember all four of these sides have a good chance of making their way through. You've got to make sure you're getting those points on the board early. We got Hi All and Hamish, says Robert and Go Fiji. Says a Robert there. Of course, the Fijians, they were my pick to get silver for the leg of the Singapore Sevens. So we'll see whether or not that is a reality. Of course, the women's side of things, they've got some pretty tough games just around the corner. They are going to be taking on the Australians. Recently got themselves the win over Brazil. They have also got another game later on tonight, the men's side of things, and they will be going head-to-head with, I believe it's going to be Great Britain, so we will be also covering that one on the channel. Logo Fiji, says James McCarthy, and the chat as well. And that's the thing, like, Fiji have more than enough capabilities of going on and winning this game. It is the opener. Normally, it's pretty unpredictable to know how these sides are going to start, and I would say of recent leagues, like, Fiji normally start a competition very well. It's just normally in the quarterfinals is where they find themselves slightly struggling. We look through at some of the sides, though, that are outside of the top 8. The USA are 8th at the moment, which means if they lose a few of their group stage matches and don't get a whole heap of points on the board in the overall standings, they will actually be in the relegation zone. Now, currently in the relegation zone, Great Britain, Spain, Samoa, and Canada. All of those sides in action a little bit later on to wait and see exactly who makes their way out of that grouping. And it's a little bit of an intimidating format because the top 4 sides, or the top 8 sides, sorry, will go through to play for the final in Madrid, and that will be for the overall winner of the Sevens circuit. Then the bottom 4 sides, they go on to face the top 4 in the Challenger Series, and it isn't so much a case of one side misses out. It's the case of all 4 of the sides that are currently on the circuit in the bottom 4 could find themselves getting relegated, and those new sides making their way into the competition. So everything on the line. I think that the team that will be the most nervous at the moment is probably Samoa, with the amount of injuries that they have currently got to deal with. They need a big league here, though, and they're going to be in action up against the French in only about an hour's time. But Adam Leal will be the referee in charge of this one. The Fijians and the US both making their way onto the field, ready to go for their first opportunity in the Singapore Sevens. I say it all the time, but this is honestly do or die for a lot of these sides. Fiji are fine. They are well and truly confirmed going through to that top 8. But with a side like the USA, if we see any of those bottom 4 have a brilliant performance, the USA could be the side that actually drop themselves outside of the top 8. But it's kicked off by the USA. Going short and almost managing to retain that ball, but it's going to be partially knocked on. Here comes Kiminelli Rasaku in a foot race with Lucas LeCamp. He's going to get caught, but he gets the offload away. And just like that, Filippo Bukayaro gets the try, Rasaku with the assist, and the Fijians are on the board in 17 seconds. I did say that they start competitions well. I didn't really mean that they'd score within 17 seconds. It was well contested. I think it was Aaron Cummings who got his hand to it, but unfortunately no one really backing him up. Lucas LeCamp, great pace shown to be able to catch up with Risaku, but in the end, Filippo Bucchiaro, great support run, and they've scored already here, the Flying Fijians, in the first moments of the contest. It's going to be a relatively tough kick, and he's absolutely nailed it there, so that'll make the score now 7-0 in favour of the Fijians. Below Hamish says, Vinny, welcome in, mate. You are doing extremely well. I should mention the next game that Fiji are playing in will be at 10:30 p.m. New Zealand time tonight. So in about 5 hours, 15 minutes. Tell you what, USA have got a beautiful chance to be able to counter with a try of their own. Here comes Lucas the Camp, and he runs it in. 2 tries within a minute and a half there between the USA and Fiji. She's going to be a seesaw of a battle. Already back, Lucas the Camp. That is his first of Singapore. It's his 9th of the 7th circuit. He's been away for a little while, and I'm sure he will be a welcome change. But the USA managing to get that ball off the kickoff. Then Kevon Williams just got the pass on the inside to the Camp, who was able to show off his speed. Wasn't quite caught by Ravovo. And manages to get it. Thomasine now trying to nail the kick. And he's got it as well. Tell you what, these two sides have come to play. That is 2 fantastic conversions and 2 brilliant runaway tries for these two teams in the first 2 minutes of their opening contest. Of course, there's a lot on the line. If you are within 7 or less, you do get yourself that bonus point, which can be massive when heading towards those quarterfinals. Of course, the top 3 sides from certain groups do get to make their way through, but the top 2 are guaranteed through to the quarterfinals. Cool, a good game, says Robert. Now going to be firing with this one. Cross to the left-hand side here for the Fijians, almost breaking through the line, but Joe Schrader with a good tackle, trying to go again for the Fijian player. I think it was Georgie Nasova, didn't realise he was held, so he tried to keep on running. Nice pass for Thomasine with the stepper. Seven Mothinothangi knocks him to the ground, and it will be now into the hands of Fiji after a knock-on. 22 metres out. Bucchiaro, standing start here for Ravovo. Didn't quite know whereabouts to go, but he's found Kiminelli Risaku, which is never a bad option. It's going to be passed back and grubbered forward by his teammates. Still pushing it forward here for the Fijians. Georgie Nasova doesn't get the bounce of the ball, and Perry Baker does. Close to a 4 pass right in front of the referee, so it is going to be play on. He said that it did travel flat, and that was quite close to Ford as well from Thomasine to Cummings. 40 metres out from their line here, the USA, Lucas the Camp, going back across to this right-hand side. Here comes Kevon Williams, gets through the line, pins his ears back. That was poor defence from Kiminelli Risaku, but he wasn't a 2-on-1 scenario. It's never going to be easy, and that is going to be another try now for the USA. 9th try for Kevon Williams as well in his overall Sevens circuit tally. Just manages to bust through Josefa Talatholo's last-ditch effort, and then the step, he was always looking that way. But Kiminelli Risaku, I don't know whether he was a little bit tired or what happened there, but he was definitely wrong-footed. Wasn't able to catch up with Kevon Williams straight out in front. The kick goes over. Score now 14 points to 7 in favour of the USA. Go both teams and enjoy it. Says anyway, they certainly are at this point. 21 points already have been scored between these two sides. A little bit of nervousness there from Mike Friday. Now, going to be kicking this one off. Fulau just getting at the 10 metres. Again, the USA really concentrated on putting pressure on off the kickoff and trying to retain that ball as much as possible. Possibly something that they've seen in the Fijians' last few legs of the Sevens. Nice fend here from Kiminelli Risaku. Loose ball, not cleaned up there from Naikalse. And it is a bit of a risk here for the Fijians to have 3 young players in their starting lineup. But of course, as you make your way forward, you are going to need those players to step up. And speaking of one of them, here comes Georgie Nasova. Has a nice run through. Scores the try between the sticks. And it's going to be now back to 14 all between these two sides. So that is only his second of his career for Georgie Nasova. Came onto the circuit this year. And just nice luring run from Sevu Mothinothangi. Lured in 2 of the defenders and left the gap for Georgie Nasova to be able to run straight through. Does a massive dive to celebrate. Tell you what, that would have been A massive mistake of Georgie Nisova ending up with some sort of injury from diving like that. But 14-0 at the moment. I believe USA going to try to topple Fiji, says Vinny. And to be honest, like the USA, like I mentioned, they're in 8th. So every game for them throughout this competition is a must-win to guarantee their spot outside of that relegation zone. It is so close at the moment in terms of points. And if Great Britain or if Samoa or Spain have a really good competition, they can actually knock the USA out of that top 8. Of course, certain sides would have to have a very good leg to be able to get there. Like, we'll just have a very quick look at the overall standings as we currently sit. But you get 20 points for getting a gold, 18 for a silver, 16 for a bronze. So there's a lot of points that can be available. We'll have a quick look through at halftime and see, oh, tell you what, they've just put it up. So USA are on 44, Great Britain on 37, Spain on 33, Samoa on 27. So the only way for Samoa to get out of that relegation zone is if USA were to pretty much finish dead last and Samoa were to win the whole thing. But it's possible. You never know. Kevin Williams with the offload gives it to Lucas a camp. It's been taken down in a big tackle. They'll go back for the original scrum. The USA have come a long way in sevens. Says Robert, that's the thing. Like, they've always been thereabouts, haven't they? Like, they're one of those sides that ever since it's been Perry Baker and that kind of era, I mean, Carlin Isles, it was a shame that he kind of gave up the seven side of things. But, like, those guys have been together for so long. And because of that, they have been able to find some consistency across the years, although they normally do struggle at those final few hurdles, which is normally, you know, those playoff games. But you know, overall, they're a side that I think can beat any side on any day if they play their best rugby. And I feel like that's almost the case that you could say about every single side in the Seven Circuit because of the unpredictable. Great run forward from Kimaneli Rasaku. It's going to be knocked on by, I think that was once again, Vitimo Ravovo. Kicked him behind. Little mistake could lead to massive reward here. Perry Baker picks the ball up. And the inexperience and the handling problems for Fiji, that hurts them badly as they will now go into halftime 21 points to 14 down. And hey, my brother Hamish, say hello to my brother Rangi. Says Justin there. Hope you guys are both enjoying the sevens. There's plenty of it throughout the weekend. We've also got Super Rugby a little bit later on tonight, doing the game between the Waratahs and the Hurricanes. A great work for Perry Baker in the USA right at the end of the first half. I just came from watching the Toronto Maple Leafs tying the series with the Boston Bruins. It's a question of who's going to out-choke the other. It's a nuts series. Says Connor Cahill. They are just showing all-time tries. Perry Baker is now sitting in second in the overall standings. Hockey's one of those ones that I'd like to get into, but I feel like I don't know where I'd start. You know, because there is so much of it on, and also there are so many teams that I have no idea about. Holy moly, no idea. Seven was on, by the way. Hi, Kiwi lads. Just got home after a hard day in the office this Spider-Man. Yeah, there is a lot of things on this weekend in the world of rugby. We've got the Challenge and Champions Cup semi-finals, also the Super Rugby, of course. We are going to be covering Hurricanes versus Waratahs in about an hour and a half's time. And then the Sevens all throughout the weekend. We are also going to be covering on the channel. It's going to be interesting to see how the second half goes. The USA have certainly shown in that first half they are ready for the challenge of facing the Fijians. We're able to score within the first 17 seconds of this contest, but from there, USA just slowly building their way back into it. I mentioned about the USA, and they are sitting on the 44 points. Great Britain, they are sitting on 37. Now, they went from getting second in the overall standings, getting 18 points, to only getting the 2 in the game afterwards. This is Justin Sun, okay? But Barry make it. Do you say right at the end all the time, I assume that is. 33 at the moment for the Spanish. Like, they're only 11 points behind the USA. Then the US, they've had a few more consistent finishes. Like, they've had 14 points, 8 points, 8 points, 6 points, 6 points as their top, whereas Great Britain, other than the 18 and the 8, they have got only 4 as their maximum other points that they have received. But now, second half, just about to kick off, and it is kicked long by the Fijians to the 22. Now, another step from Madison Hughes, who has made his way onto the field. Great work. Oh no, player not rolling away. Fijian stuck in the breakdown. I think he's not happy about it. That is once again going to be Revovo penalised. I can give you a bit of a comparison. My team, Ireland, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they choke on the biggest stage at the same exact point of it. Ireland chokes in the World quarterfinals, Leafs in round 1 of the Stanley Cup. So here's Connor Cahill, but kicked towards the touchline from the USA. Steve Thomas-Seen taking a few deep breaths. Of course, it's all about trying to manage your stamina throughout the weekend. Only 2 games of the Sevens taking place today. Some of the competitions recently, we've seen it squeezed into only the 2 days rather than the 3, but 2 days of pretty much group stages, with the quarterfinals being in the evening and then the finals on the last day. Thanks for trying. I love you, RJ from Dad. Says Justin. Now Schrader. Going back across to Madison Hughes. Taken down, gets back up after placing the ball. Referee was almost in the way. Here comes Perry Baker. Pass on the outside to Kevon Williams with the skip pass over the top. Cummings for the corner, and he'll finish it. Great job from the big USA number 1 where it took place. It is in Singapore. So the latest game that takes place will finish at around 12:50 a.m. New Zealand time, which is a lot nicer than some of the time zones that we've dealt with for the Sevens. It goes out to Aaron Cummings. Sorry for that other text. Was my 8-year-old son sending the love to his family, and says Justin. You're leaving me on a lot of cliffhangers today, Justin. You're not quite giving me that last word. Although you did put a full stop in there, I do see. That one's gone just short of going over. USA have not finished in the top 5 at Singapore since 2019, where they finished 3rd. So it's been a little while since the USA have got themselves a big finish. But if they make it through to the quarterfinals, they'll have a very good chance of having enough points to avoid their relegation zone. Tosaviti says Ratik there. Of course, the next time Fiji are going to be in action, we'll be up against Great Britain. That is at 10:30 p.m. New Zealand time. And that is almost a must-win for Great Britain. Same with this next game that they've got. It has taken place in only about 7 minutes' time, and that is up against the Irish. Now getting ready for this one. To kick off, 4.5 minutes remaining, and there is currently a difference of 12 between these two sides. USA, they'll be looking to retain this kickoff again, and they've been able to do so, although there was the knock-on in the end. Cost them the ball. And now Kalsa, trying to find that gap, manages to get the offload away. On their own 22 at the moment. For the Fijians, this is the first game, I missed a few. This is the first men's game that has taken place. We've seen a few women's matches, including the Fijian women actually getting themselves to win over Great Britain. Of course, the men's rematch will be a little bit later on, like I mentioned. Jose Fatalatholo in the middle of the field after the penalty was won by the Fijians. Ioane Teba now trying to bust his way forward. I've actually just mentioned Ioane Teba. It's been since that gold medal was the last time that we actually saw him playing for the Fijians. Ball stolen by Lucas the Camp. Steve Thomas-Seen puts the ball on the outside to Perry Baker. Good acceleration shown by the experienced veteran. Looks like there might be a USA player slightly down. I think that was Lucas the Camp. He's only just come back from an injury. So I hope he is going to be all right. Madison Hughes goes across to Schrader, lined up early, but not rolling away in the breakdown penalty. Goes the way of the US. And they will now be able to use up, I would say, a good 30 seconds or so, deciding to go for the corner. But yeah, it's been so long since we've seen Ioane Teba in that Fijian kit. And hopefully he does all right when given the opportunity. Of course, this is quite a tough game to come back into. The fact that they are down by 12 with only 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. The USA, perfect chance now for them to be able to pick up their first victory of the weekend. Of course, that does not mean that it's the end of the road for the Fijians here. They will still have plenty more opportunities to get themselves the big points. Okay, Mike Friday's actually expressed that he doesn't like the format of the bottom 8, or sorry, the bottom 4 actually having a chance of getting relegated. Now Tupuola, it's going to be slapped away to Rio Valawa. These guys are the X factor that the Fijians maybe have been lacking in the last leg or two. Now down the wing, close to going into touch, and he was. Mistake out wide. Little bit of an experience there from Georgie Nosova. And this is starting to hurt the Fijians. It's those young players, the ones that they're trying to blood and try and get into, I guess, future stars at the moment are the ones who are making the constant errors. And Hamish US of A will win this game, says Joseph. Yeah, at the moment they're in the box seat. Only another 90 seconds remaining. Nicely thrown into Joe Schrader. Now Tupuola, across to Malachi Isdale. Another low tackle made by the Fijian. Rio Valawa wins the penalty. Schrader tries to throw it away a little bit, but not so much that he gets himself a yellow card. Now taking the quick tap there was Felipe Saturanga. That's just a rough ball from Ioane Teba. Goes straight to Tupuola. And it's back with the USA. 60 seconds remaining. Thomasine tries the wide cutout pass. Sits up nicely for V. Counter ruck there from the Fijians. They managed to steal the ball. Schrader, he could have been penalised there for not rolling away. It's going to actually cost them a try by the looks of it here, the Fijians, which I'm sure they would be gutted about. They were trying to clear that ball. Weren't quite able to, but 30 seconds remaining now on the 22. I just got back here to pick up a prescription. Says pads are placed. They've tried the cross kick there. Nicely claimed by Aaron Cummings. Pass on the outside, and it will be the try for Isdale. 20 seconds left, but that will be the game now. The USA sitting 31 points to 14 up. I knew USA would win. Says pads ablaze. Good. I mean, at the moment, they are in that do-or-die situation, like I mentioned. They had to get themselves a big win here, and that is definitely what they've been able to do, but they have to keep on backing that up. Their next game is going to be up against the Irish, followed by a game up against Great Britain tomorrow. But 33 points to 14. That is going to be the end of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. The Fijians defeated by the USA. The next game that we are doing, I believe we are starting in 17 minutes time. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got about 3 games of the Sevens, maybe even 4 that we are covering. And then we're into Super Rugby between the Hurricanes and the Waratahs, followed by another 4 games of the Sevens tonight. So thank you all very much for tuning in. Next live stream, like I mentioned, was going to be Spain versus South Africa, followed by a couple more matches, including France versus Samoa, and also Argentina versus Australia. But thank you all very much for being here, and I will see you all for the next one.